Recently, I decided to make a game so that I could watch hundreds of my viewers fight to their death for my entertainment. Why? Because it's cool, and the person who is able to beat every other viewer and win will get the very valuable prize of 1 month of my Patreon. Look, my budget was pretty small, okay? It was either this or an old Starbucks gift card I found in my wallet with like $2 on it. But before we can watch hundreds of people fight to the death for our entertainment, I need to actually make the game. But like, that should be pretty easy. I mean, I am an expert. First, I made this completely original character model, then I brought it into Unity, made a blue version, and now I have 2 fighters ready to fight. Except they can't actually fight each other yet because they're just regular ragdolls that can't do anything. And I want them to fight each other with physics. Kind of like a similar unnamed physics fighting game that I'm definitely not stealing from. So if I want these guys to fight with physics, I need to turn them into active ragdolls. What's an active ragdoll, you're wondering? Well, they're pretty similar to regular ragdolls, except you can puppeteer their lifeless body by forcing their bones to play an animation. To make an active ragdoll, you need a regular ragdoll, which I have, and an animated character, which I made by stealing an animation from Mixamo. Then, with a little bit of programming, you can use physics to force the ragdoll's muscles and bones to bend, twist, and contort into the pose of an animation. And you have an active ragdoll, which was definitely pretty easy to set up, and definitely didn't make me regret every life decision that made me think making an active ragdoll would be a good idea. But at least now I can watch these 2 ragdolls actually fight. I just need to manually move them together because they can't walk yet, and they can also only play this one static animation, but I mean, it kind of works. Okay, so there are some issues, but I can fix those issues by replacing these static animations with procedural animations. So instead of manually rotating every one of the ragdoll's bones with an animation, I can just set a target and then have the ragdoll's bones automatically adjust when I move that target. And that might sound complicated, but I took a single 3D animation course in university, so I think I know what I'm doing. Plus, Unity has a package that'll do all of the work for me, so I guess I'll have to save my professional animation skills for another time. I just need to install Unity's animation rigging package, set up an animation rig, and now I can animate this character by moving their balls. Not those balls, these balls, which are targets that I can move around to dynamically position the ragdoll's bones. I just need to write some code to move these targets and create some procedural animations. First, I need a walking animation, so I can just make a simple script to set the position of the feet targets, and that should work. So making a physically based, procedurally animated character is kind of difficult. I'm not even sure how to explain what's going wrong here. But after many more attempts and a lot more lines of code, I eventually got something that kind of works, and the ragdoll can walk on its own and can react to other physics objects like this cube. Then I made a procedural punch animation that can dynamically target the enemy fighter's head. I also added a lunge to the punch animation, but it took a few adjustments to get it working right. And now I have 2 procedurally animated ragdolls that can fight each other. But since they can't actually hurt each other yet, I'm basically just watching 2 immortal beings fight until the end of time. To fix that, I added some hit detection and some visual effects to the punch. And after a few hits, the fighter will get knocked out. But I didn't do all of this work just to watch 2 ragdolls fight each other. I want more. 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 Okay, that might be too much. So it turns out that having hundreds of ragdolls that each have a bunch of colliders and rigid bodies has a slight impact on the game's performance. So if I want to simulate a fight with hundreds of ragdolls, I need to optimize this. First, I can just reduce the physics quality for the game, and I might have lowered it a little bit too much. But after some adjustments, I think I found a pretty good balance, and by making a few other optimizations and spending 2 days rewriting most of the game's code, the game is actually playable with 500 ragdolls. Well, as long as you consider 40 FPS playable, but considering that the game was struggling to generate a single frame before, I actually think this is pretty good. So, I guess you could call me a game maker. This video is sponsored by Game Maker. Game Maker is a game engine that's been used to develop some of the most successful games, like Deltarune, Hotline Miami, Katana Zero, and even some of my first games, which, unfortunately, I don't have any footage of, but trust me, they were just as good. Back when I wasn't a professional game developer that could make games like this, I got started by using Game Maker. It was the first game engine I ever used, and I think it's a really great way to get into game development. They've got lots of really great features, like their built-in sprite editor. Look, I just made this in like a minute or 2, okay? I promise I could do better. That make it super quick to pick up and really easy to start actually making games. And with their visual scripting language, you could even make entire games without writing a single line of code. So if you've ever thought about making a game, but you aren't sure where to start, I think Game Maker is definitely worth trying. And if you're more experienced and want an engine to develop and release a commercial game, there have been tons of successful games made with GameMaker, so I think it's a great option there as well. They've also got an active forum and Discord community if you ever need to ask for some help, or if you just want to meet and hang out with other game developers. And if you're not sure where to start, you can check out GameMaker's short RPG tutorial series. It'll teach you everything you need to know about the engine to start actually making games. So use the first link in the description to go download GameMaker for free and start developing games today. Thanks again to GameMaker for sponsoring this video, and it's back to making the greatest game to ever exist. And now that I have hundreds of ragdolls that can all fight each other, I need an actual level. I started by making some concept art for the level, so I think this kind of explains what I'm going for. As you can see, it's an island. And that's pretty much it. By using that sketch as a reference, I made this level model, and when I bring it into Unity, it looks horrible. I'm not even sure how to explain why it looks bad, it just looks bad. But at least the troops can still walk around on the new level. Mostly. How are you doing this? You're not supposed to be able to do this. But after adjusting the shape of the level and randomizing the transforms of the sides to make some cliffs, the level actually looks pretty good. I mean, this is basically a one-to-one recreation of my sketch. Except, when I bring it into Unity, it still looks bad. I don't know if it's a me problem or if it's a Unity problem, but making something look good with Unity's lighting system is really hard. I mean, the problem could just be that I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm pretty sure it's a Unity problem. But eventually, I got something that I'm pretty happy with. Mostly thanks to baking the lights and then just cranking up the saturation, but the level is still completely empty. So I followed this tutorial to add some grass using Unity Shader Graph. Now, if you don't know what Unity Shader Graph is, it's basically just magic. You connect these runes together and then they do stuff, and somehow that makes grass that can sway in the wind. I don't really understand any of it, but I've got some pretty good customizable grass now. Next, I need to add some props to the level, and I actually have started making one, but I don't know, something just looks wrong about it. Does it kind of look like a person, or am I crazy? Like, I swear, like, when I look at this rock, it looks like someone's staring back at me. But I don't know if I'm losing my mind or not. But, like, there's just, I don't know, there's just something about this rock. It's just, I don't know. There's just something suspicious about this rock. Anyway, I guess I'm gonna start making some other props now. So I made some trees, some bushes, and some actual rocks that don't look like faces. I also made a bunch of camping props because I thought it would get a little bit boring just having a bunch of trees and rocks. Then I started using the props to decorate the level. I made a campsite, another campsite, another campsite. The campsite models were really all I had, alright? I had to make the most out of them. But on the other side of the map, covered by shadow, I also made this dark and mysterious stone sanctuary. And at its center is the all-powerful Lord of Stone. And I think he's trying to say something. You want everyone watching to subscribe? Or else you're gonna turn their entire family into stone? Well, I guess you better listen to the scary stone guy. I mean, you heard what he said, right? Right? But now that I have this level finished, I can watch hundreds of ragdolls fight to the death in this beautiful scenery. Except, they're too stupid to know how to walk around objects, and for some reason, they all forgot how to walk like a normal person. Honestly, not really sure what to do about this. But to fix the problem of ragdolls walking into objects, I can just use Unity's built-in navigation system, because clearly my navigation system has some issues. So I just updated the AI script to start using Unity's navigation system, which should fix the problem. What is this? What happened to this guy? Oh no. What did I do? I made it so much worse. So it turns out that using Unity's navigation system with physics-based characters is slightly more complicated than I was expecting it to be. I mean, to be fair, he's not getting stuck on objects, so technically I fixed the issue. But after a bit more time adjusting the script and fixing some of the quirks, I got it pretty much working. Next, I want to give these ragdolls some weapons of mass destruction, because I'm getting a little bit tired of watching them just slap each other to death. And, as Napoleon Bonaparte once said, fighting with weapons of mass destruction is like really cool. So I used Blender to make this really big hammer, then gave it to the ragdoll to walk around with. But right now, it's just a static object attached to the ragdoll, and I want it to be controlled by physics, because physics are cool. And it's also kind of the entire point of this game. To add physics to the hammer, I can just give it a rigid body, and then connect it to the ragdoll with a spring joint. And now, the hammer is completely controlled by physics. Okay, yeah, I'm thinking a spring joint might have been the wrong decision. Where's he going? Oh god! What did I do? So I ended up replacing the spring joint with a fixed joint, which seems to work all right. It is a little bit more complicated than that, but all you need to know is that it just works. Most of the time. Now that the ragdoll can perfectly hold the hammer, I need to make an attack. First, I tried to use my professional 3D animation training to make an attack animation for the hammer, but because it's completely physics-based and controlled with joints, I couldn't really get it to look good. Look, my training didn't cover physics-based animation, alright? It's not my fault. I ended up just applying some torque to the hammer to make it swing, and it actually makes a pretty good animation. Like, dude, look at the hammer skills this guy has. It's actually pretty crazy. Then I added some sound effects and particles to the attack, and now I can watch a bunch of physics-based base characters fight each other with comically large hammers. It's pretty cool. And next, I want to make a ranged weapon. So I started modeling a musket in Blender and attached it to the ragdoll. Then I tried adding some force to the gun to make an animation like the hammer, but it doesn't seem to be working. Oh my god. How does this always happen? This is like the 5th time this has happened so far. But after making some adjustments, I got the animation looking pretty good. But you know, I'm gonna be honest, the force applied to the guy, not really enough in my opinion. So let me just add a few zeros, you know, just a slightly bigger number. Let's see what happens. Then I made a projectile for the gun and added some pretty cool effects to the attack. Except the problem with having a projectile bullet is that the ragdolls need to actually aim their gun at their target, and right now, they're not very good at doing that. And getting them to accurately aim at their target is actually a lot harder than it sounds. But after a lot of thinking, I came up with the perfect solution. Basically, I just check if the gun is pointing in the general direction of the target, and if it is, the shot gets aimbotted to the target's head, which I'll admit isn't very realistic, but you can't really tell, and I also couldn't get anything else to work, so this is the best I could do. And now that I have some weapons, I updated the troop spawner to randomly give each troop a random weapon, but that means that some of the troops will spawn with no weapon, which is pretty much just guaranteed death. To fix that, troops that spawn without a weapon can now go pick one up from a dead troop. So your chances of survival are still pretty low, but technically not zero. And I think now the game is finally ready for us to watch hundreds of viewers fight to the death for the greatest prize of all time. I mean, it's definitely better than a $2 Starbucks gift card, which literally nobody would want. The only problem is that I don't actually have anybody to put into the fight yet. So I made a forum where people can enlist into the battle for a chance to win the very valuable prize. And while we wait for people to enlist, there are a few final things I need to add to the game. First, I added some text above the troops' heads so that you can tell them apart, except Base Troop 3 isn't a very interesting name, so I just made a list of original and unique names for the troops, and they'll randomly choose one when they spawn in. Then, I spent some time to make the name tag look a little bit better, and made a kill feed. I basically just took a mugshot of the ragdoll, and then crossed it out for the kill feed. And if that's not good UI design, then I don't know what is. And the last thing I did was make a logo and a main menu for the game. I ended up deciding to call it Troops, because it's about troops fighting other troops. And you know, I think it's a pretty smart name. But now, the game is basically completely finished. And if I go back and check the forum, there are more than 600 enlistments. I actually had to go and close the forum after like 12 hours because if any more people signed up, I'm pretty sure my computer would actually blow up. Now, I just need to put all 600 of these people into the game. And to do that, I can just put all of the names into a text file. Then I can write a script to loop through the text file and spawn a troop for each line with the name that they chose. And I'm sure that everybody chose a normal and respectable name. And now it's finally time to start the fight and see who wins the really amazing prize. And speaking of the prize, I've decided to increase it from 1 month of Patreon to 2 months of Patreon. The $2 Starbucks gift card pales in comparison to this prize. Oh, wait. Gotta wait for the GeForce Experience overlay to go away. In 3, 2, 1, boom! Okay, it's gotta load. Okay, it's lagging a little bit. Look at this, dude. Oh, everyone's dying. You can see on the left, you can see the kill feed. We're already down 100 people. Look at the death, dude. There's already 300 people dead. Potato pasta. And I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that. Potato pasta, no. Oh, skill issue. Skill issue. Oh my god, he beat up the guy with a gun. He stole his gun. He's crazy. We're getting close to the top 100 already. Walmart bag versus nice guy. Walmart bag, don't do it. He's just a nice guy. Oh my god. Walmart bag, what's wrong with you, dude? Dude, Walmart bag is crazy. Oh my god, he's popping off. Top 15. People are dying really fast. My dad hates me. He's in between two people with guns. Can't decide who to shoot at. Also can't hit anyone. No! Well, he doesn't have to worry about his dad anymore. Dude, Walmart bag is coming in from the side. Damn, he's dead. Fire gift guy. Walmart bag. Oh no, Walmart bag. He got stuck on a tree. No, the guy's coming with a gun. Walmart bag, you gotta get out of here. Walmart bag, you gotta do something. Walmart bag, please, you gotta do something. You gotta do something. No. Oh, it's already the top two. These are the last two. The Decimator and Fire Gift Guy. They can't hit each other. All right, well, I guess we just wait, see who can hit each other first. He hit him first. The Decimator Congratulations! You are victorious and have won 2 free months of Patreon. If you are one of the other competing people and you didn't win, sucks to suck. I'll be doing some more battles over on my second channel, so go check that out. Or watch this video where I made a single player game with infinite players.